Okay, let's dive right in. We need to talk about something really important, something that so many people heading into retirement, or even those already there, are getting wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean it in a way that can truly, deeply affect the quality of what should be an amazing chapter of life. The title says it all: most retirees are making this fatal mistake. And fatal might sound dramatic, but when it comes to your happiness, your fulfillment, even your health in retirement, this mistake can indeed have devastating consequences. So, what is this monumental blunder? Is it about not saving enough money? Well, finances are undeniably crucial, and we could talk for days about that, but that's not the core of what I'm getting at today. Is it about underestimating healthcare costs? Again, super important, a major factor for peace of mind, but still not the bullseye. The fatal mistake, the one that catches so many wonderful, hard-working people off guard, is believing that retirement is simply an extended vacation, a destination you arrive at, rather than a new journey you must actively design and navigate. It's the mistake of focusing almost exclusively on the financial finish line, while giving little to no serious thought to what you'll do with your time, how you'll find your purpose, and how you'll maintain your identity once the structure of work is gone. Think about it. For decades, your life has likely revolved around a career. Your work probably gave you a sense of identity. I'm a teacher, I'm an engineer, I'm a manager, I'm a small business owner. It provided a built-in social network, colleagues, clients, industry contacts. It gave your day's structure: wake up, commute, meetings, projects, deadlines. It offered challenges, a sense of accomplishment, and yes, a paycheck. Then, one day, the alarm clock doesn't need to be set. The commute is gone. The emails stop flooding in. The team meetings are a thing of the past. For the first few weeks, maybe even a few months, it can feel like bliss. Freedom. No more stress. You can sleep in, play golf, travel, catch up on hobbies, spend time with grandkids. And all of that is wonderful, truly. You've earned it. But what happens when the novelty of that initial freedom wears off? What happens when you've played all the golf you can handle, visited all the places on your immediate list, and the grandkids are busy with school and their own lives? What happens when the days start to feel empty? This is where the fatal mistake rears its ugly head. People hit retirement, financially secure perhaps, but emotionally and psychologically unprepared for the sheer volume of unstructured time and the sudden loss of their primary identity and social hub. They haven't planned for a life beyond the absence of work. They've planned for retirement, in a financial sense, but not through retirement, in a holistic life sense. Let's be honest, our society often paints retirement as this idyllic, passive existence. You work hard your whole life, and then you get to just stop and relax forever. Pictures of seniors smiling on a beach, or leisurely strolling through a park. And while relaxation is a key component, if that's all there is, it can lead to a profound sense of drift, boredom, and even depression. Humans are wired for purpose, for connection, for growth, for contribution. Taking those things away, without a plan to replace them, can be incredibly detrimental. I've seen it happen. People who were vibrant, energetic, and engaged in their careers suddenly find themselves feeling lost. They might say things like, "I don't know what to do with myself," or "I feel useless now." Their social circles shrink because so much of their interaction was tied to their job. Their sense of self takes a hit because retired doesn't feel like an identity, it feels like a label for what they used to be. This isn't to scare you, but to empower you. Because recognizing this common pitfall is the first step to avoiding it and crafting a retirement that is truly rich, fulfilling, and joyful. So, why is this mistake so common? A few reasons. Firstly, as mentioned, the cultural narrative around retirement often focuses on leisure and escape. Secondly, financial planning for retirement is heavily emphasized, and rightly so. It's essential, but life planning for retirement often gets overlooked or treated as an afterthought, something you'll just figure out when you get there. But imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint, just figuring it out as you go. It might stand, but it probably won't be the dream home you envisioned. Thirdly, it's hard to imagine what life will be like without work when you're still deeply immersed in it. Your work identity is strong. It's comfortable. The idea of shedding that, even for something supposedly better, can be unconsciously resisted or simply not contemplated deeply enough. The consequences of this oversight can be far-reaching. Beyond boredom and a sense of purposelessness, it can impact mental health, leading to anxiety or depression. It can strain relationships if one partner is thriving in retirement and the other is floundering, or if both are suddenly underfoot 24/7 without a plan for how to navigate that new dynamic. And believe it or not, it can even affect physical health. Studies have shown that a lack of purpose and social engagement can be linked to poorer health outcomes. Our minds and bodies are deeply connected. If your spirit is languishing, your physical well-being can suffer too. Think about the word retire. It can mean to withdraw, to retreat. But I want you to reframe that. Think of it more like refire or re-inspire. It's a chance to redirect your energy, your talents, your passions in new and exciting ways. It's not an ending, it's a transition to a new phase with its own unique opportunities and, yes, its own challenges that require proactive planning. So, how do we avoid this fatal mistake? How do we move from simply retiring from something, your job, to retiring to something, a fulfilling new life? It starts with a mindset shift. Years before you plan to stop working, you should start thinking, dreaming, and planning for what your retired life will look like, not just financially, but in all its dimensions. What will get you out of bed in the morning with enthusiasm? Let's break down what this life planning for retirement could involve. It's not about creating a rigid, minute-by-minute schedule, but about identifying core areas that contribute to a well-rounded, meaningful life and thinking about how you'll nurture them. One of the biggest pieces is purpose. What will give you a sense of meaning when your career no longer does? This is deeply personal. For some, it might be volunteering for a cause they care deeply about. Imagine the skills and experience you've gathered over a lifetime. How could those be put to use to help others or contribute to your community? Food banks, animal shelters, hospitals, schools, mentoring programs, the opportunities are endless. It doesn't have to be a huge time commitment, but that feeling of making a difference can be incredibly powerful. For others, purpose might come from diving deep into a hobby or learning something new. Always wanted to learn a musical instrument? Take art classes. Master a new language. Write a book. Go back to school just for the joy of learning. Retirement offers the gift of time to pursue these passions that may have been on the back burner for years. This isn't just about filling time, it's about engaging your mind, challenging yourself, and experiencing the joy of growth. Consider part-time work or starting a small encore career based on a passion. Maybe you've always loved woodworking, or baking, or gardening. Perhaps you could turn that into a small business, working on your own terms, sharing your passion with others, and bringing in a little extra income. Or maybe consulting in your former field, but with a much reduced schedule, offering your wisdom without the daily grind. The key is that it's something you choose, something that energizes you rather than drains you. Another critical area is social connection. As I mentioned, work often provides a ready-made social network. When that disappears, it's vital to be intentional about maintaining existing friendships and cultivating new ones. Are there clubs you could join based on your interests? Book clubs, hiking groups, gardening societies, car clubs? Community centers often have a wealth of activities and classes. Consider taking up a group sport or fitness activity. Make an effort to connect with neighbors. Schedule regular lunches or coffee dates with friends. If your family is far away, leverage technology to stay connected, but also seek out local connections. Loneliness is a silent epidemic, and it can be particularly acute in retirement if you're not proactive. Meaningful social bonds are a cornerstone of happiness and well-being at any age, but especially as we get older. Then there's structure and routine. While the thought of no schedule might seem appealing initially, a complete lack of structure can be disorienting for many. This doesn't mean you need to live by the clock, but having some gentle anchors in your day or week can be very helpful. Maybe it's a morning walk, a regular volunteer commitment, a weekly class, or dedicated time for hobbies. This helps to create a sense of normalcy and rhythm, preventing the days from blurring together into an undifferentiated mass. Don't forget health and wellness. With more free time, there's a golden opportunity to focus on your physical and mental well-being. This isn't just about doctor's appointments, it's about an active lifestyle. Regular exercise, walking, swimming, yoga, dancing, whatever you enjoy. Healthy eating, perhaps you'll have more time to cook nutritious meals. Adequate sleep. And crucially, mental stimulation, reading, puzzles, learning new things, engaging in stimulating conversations. Your health is your wealth, especially in retirement. Don't let it slide just because the pressures of work are off. In fact, now you have more time to invest in it. And yes, let's touch on finances again, but from this new perspective. Your financial plan isn't just about having enough money to not work. It's about having the resources to support this new, purposeful, engaged life you're designing. If you want to travel, take classes, or invest in a new hobby, your financial plan needs to accommodate that. So, the financial piece and the life planning piece are intertwined. They need to talk to each other. Your money should serve your life, not the other way around. Now, all of this might sound like a lot to think about, and it is. But it's exciting, too. It's an invitation to be the architect of your next great adventure. The key is to start early. Don't wait until a month before your retirement party to ponder these things. Start thinking and exploring these areas years in advance. Try things out. Maybe you think you'd like to volunteer at the local library. Why not try it for a few hours a week now, if your schedule permits, to see if it's a good fit? Start cultivating those hobbies now. Talk to people who are already retired. What do they love about it? What challenges did they face? What do they wish they had done differently? Learn from their experiences. Have open and honest conversations with your spouse or partner if you have one. What are their dreams and expectations for retirement? How will you spend your time together? How will you support each other's individual pursuits? Retirement can be a wonderful time for couples to reconnect and explore new shared interests, but it also requires communication and, sometimes, compromise. It's important that both individuals feel they have space for their own growth and purpose. One of the beautiful things about this stage of life is that you often have more freedom and flexibility than ever before. You can experiment. You can try something and decide it's not for you, and then try something else. There's no right way to do retirement, only the way that is right for you. The fatal mistake isn't about a lack of good intentions. Most people look forward to retirement with great anticipation. It's more about a blind spot, a failure to appreciate that retiring from work is only half the equation. The other, arguably more important half, is retiring to a life that continues to offer growth, engagement, connection, and purpose. Imagine two scenarios. Scenario A, someone retires, has a party, enjoys a few months of R&R, and then, nothing. The days stretch out. TV becomes a primary companion. They feel a bit adrift, maybe a bit bored, maybe a bit lonely. They miss the camaraderie of the office, the challenges, the routine. They start to feel like they're just waiting. Scenario B, someone retires, having already explored new interests, lined up a volunteer gig they're passionate about, joined a hiking club, and planned a course they want to take. They enjoy their initial R&R, but they also have things they are genuinely excited to do. Their days have a pleasant rhythm, a mix of leisure, learning, contribution, and social connection. They feel energized, engaged, and alive. Which scenario do you want for yourself? The answer is obvious, right? But achieving scenario B doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. It happens by acknowledging that the non-financial aspects of retirement are just as important, if not more so, than the financial ones. It happens by understanding that your identity is more than your job title, and that your capacity for contribution and joy doesn't end when your career does. So, if you're approaching retirement, or even if you're already there and feeling a bit like you're in scenario A, please know that it's never too late to course correct. It's never too late to start thinking about these things, to start exploring, to start building that fulfilling life. The first step is awareness. Hopefully, our chat today has raised that awareness. The next step is reflection. Take some quiet time to really think, what makes you happy? What are you passionate about? What have you always wanted to do but never had the time for? What kind of impact do you still want to make on the world, however big or small? Write these things down. Talk about them with people you trust. Start to research opportunities. Don't be afraid to dream a little. Retirement isn't about winding down, it can be about gearing up for a new kind of adventure, one that's driven by your passions and your values, not by the demands of a job. This isn't about replacing a 40-hour work week with 40 hours of scheduled activities. It's about finding a balance that works for you, a balance of relaxation and engagement, solitude and social connection, familiar comforts and new experiences. The fatal mistake is passively drifting into retirement. The solution is actively, consciously, and joyfully creating it. It's about seeing retirement not as an empty space to be filled, but as a blank canvas on which you get to paint your masterpiece. What will your masterpiece look like? This requires a shift from a freedom from mindset, freedom from work, freedom from stress, to a freedom to mindset, freedom to learn, freedom to explore, freedom to connect, freedom to contribute, freedom to grow. That freedom to is where the magic happens. That's where you find the joy, the vitality, and the deep satisfaction that can make retirement the best years of your life. So, let's recap the core idea. The most significant mistake retirees often make is underestimating the psychological and emotional transition and failing to proactively plan for a life of purpose, connection, and engagement beyond their careers. They focus on the financial, what if, but not the lifestyle, what now. You've spent a lifetime accumulating wisdom, skills, and experience. Retirement isn't the time to put all of that on a shelf. It's time to redeploy it in ways that bring you joy and make a difference, however you define that. Let me be clear, enjoying leisure is good. Resting is good. Traveling is good. But these are often components of a fulfilling retirement, not the entirety of it. Think of them as wonderful spices in a rich and flavorful dish, but not the main course itself. The main course is a life lived with intention and engagement. So, the call to action here is simple but profound. Start planning your life in retirement, not just your finances for retirement. Think about your purpose, your passions, your social connections, your health, and how you'll structure your days in a way that brings you fulfillment. If you're years away from retirement, start now. The sooner you begin to explore and cultivate these non-financial aspects of your future life, the smoother and more joyful your transition will be. If you're on the cusp of retirement, make this a priority. Carve out time for serious reflection and planning. If you're already retired and feeling a bit adrift, it's absolutely not too late. Today is a new day. You can start exploring, connecting, and creating that more fulfilling existence right now. Don't let your retirement be defined by what you've left behind. Let it be defined by what you're embracing, what you're creating, and who you're becoming in this exciting new chapter. Avoid that fatal mistake by choosing to design a retirement that truly allows you to thrive. Your future self will thank you for it. This is your time. Make it count. Make it meaningful. Make it yours.